Welcome back, beautiful souls, to the Horror Pop Extravaganza.
What up, all you beautiful souls? Welcome back to the Horror Pop Manor, man. You are here. You know what time it is. It is time for the Horror Pop Extravaganza. And I'm Pops Ghostly, as always. And with me today,
just a little Duke Spooky.
just so low. Just so low.
Just a little. But I grow. That's what's important.
I'm a grower, Duke Spooky, not a shower, Duke Spooky. I
That's
was at
right.
I was at the VA the other day for them to tell me that my appointment got canceled, and they didn't tell me about it. But that was okay. But I saw this lady at her desk. She had these two tiny little Jesuses. I mean, they were tiny, like, little itty bitty ones. I said, I like that little Jesus right there. She's like, yeah, I keep a couple of them so that I can give them to people and say, you need a little Jesus in your life. I'm like, dude, I was like, that's so clever. Because they were adorable, dude. They were these tiny little, like, smiley face, It was, anyway. How are you? How you doing?
I'm wonderful. I'm glad to be here in the manor to talk
Yes.
about a movie that just has been on my mind all week.
Oh, dude. It's, get your gain just a tiny bit down. Sorry, just a tiny bit down for me. But, so this is one that you and I share a love of, in 1996, you're a little bit older by a couple years, but I was like 10th grade, ninth, 10th grade, somewhere right in there, like prime age for that original Scream. And as a horror kid who, was kind of getting sad with the stuff that was coming out, it was this new great big breath of fresh air. We are now a series, 6 sequels. This is the 6th sequel in the Scream franchise. They bring back Kevin Williamson, who we'll talk about, I can't remember if he did Urban Legend or not. I know he did H2O. I want to say he might have been writing Urban Legend, but he wrote Scream. He was just the like powerhouse of the mid 90s, almost like our John Hughes in a way. He could give
He did The Faculty, which was a horror John Hughes.
Yes, and The Faculty is so good, dude. That was a banger. Killer
So
soundtrack too. Killer soundtrack. All right, we got a lot of movies to talk about. Why don't you just jump right into that IMDb, dude? Scream 7, 2026. Lay it on us.
Yeah, here it comes. We already said Kevin Williamson, most important name in the whole thing, but
I think
we went back to the original.
I think his only first or second directing, though. Like, he hasn't directed a lot. And I want to say I read somewhere that he talked Neve into coming back, and then Neve talked him into directing it. Was kind of how everything, and she got the biggest payday I think of her career for this one. For those of you who might not know, Scream 6 and Scream 5, there was not enough money and stuff, and they didn't consider her worth, whatever the budget was. So she stayed out of those two, which they fucking just paint all over this movie. But yes, she stayed out of those two. So this was kind of a big deal, her coming back to the franchise.
Yeah, this one is heavy, Neve Campbell. This is not just her as a side character or a pop-in cameo. Like, we're back with Sidney.
Right.
Courtney Cox, or some amalgamation of Courtney Cox, is in this movie.
Dude, and that's so sad, because I was looking at her and remembering, like, Courtney Cox. But it's kind of a Hollywood thing right now. I read an article recently, and they're like, so many people, it's like this Ozempic body where it's this almost skeleton, but she's been having work done even before Ozempic was a product. But you talk about, you go back and look at like Masters of the Universe, how pretty she was. And then Friends, she's gorgeous across the board. But yeah, it's like skin tight and like, it's there, dude. It's
scary.
But it's not just her. It's a lot of Hollywood, dude. It's a lot of Hollywood. Yeah, right now.
But Neve doesn't look like she's been doing too much, or at least she's been getting it done right. So next to Neve Campbell, Courtney Cox looks like a creature.
Right. Like, you're right. In a lot of ways she did, which is sad. Courtney, we hope everything good for you, but it is hard to see, the trend. It's like a Jekyll and Hyde type thing, dude. Like, it's radically different.
It is. It really is. This girl, though, is the up and comer. She's going to be the next, like, J-Law, dude. This is Isabel May. And I know her from 1928, and I thought that thing was hot fire. People, loved it or hate it. To say what you will about Taylor Sheridan, but I really like that show.
I have never seen Yellowstone. I've never seen the 1928 stuff, but I'm a big Sheridan fan. Like, I like Tulsa King. I like Mayor of Kingstown. That dude, though, I feel like Paramount grabbed him up and was like, write every show ever. And he was like, bet.
Oh, yeah.
I'm down.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Yeah. But you put his name on it, and it becomes hot fire. I mean, Landman, like, just took off, dude.
I haven't seen Landman yet, but I like
very
Billy
little
Bob.
to do it.
Yeah, I like Billy Bob.
It's Billy Bob at his best, dude. He's doing Billy Bob in that show.
Good.
But it's like super Republican, though, dude. Even the commercials are like, "Yay, big oil!" You're just like, "Fuck off."
Little bit more on the gain. There came that big excited voice for me. That's okay. So yeah, I want to check out Landman for sure. But so we mentioned, Neve being back, Courtney being back. Courtney's been in all of them because she went to New York.
Yeah.
But we lost, and there was a big stink about the girl who was going to be the new Neve, Billy's daughter, who made some comment about Gaza or something, and she got canceled. And then Jenna
that was the big sister.
Yeah. Oh,
that was the big sister in the second one, or not the second one in the New York series.
Right.
The main chick from those two was something Barbera, and she stood up for Palestine and fucking got canceled.
Yeah. But then
and then Jenna Ortega was like, well, go fuck yourself.
Right. Yeah, at the same time. But she was supposed to be the new Sidney, maybe. They were setting this girl up to be like our new powerhouse to fight Ghostface. But yeah, the cancel culture ate her up and spit her out. So many good ones, dude. The one that still bothers me the most was the Mandalorian. She was so good in that Mandalorian, dude. And I was like, don't take it all away. Okay. Continue.
I'm excited to see her fight Ronda Rousey on Netflix, though.
Right. Netflix is just, dude, do you see all this shit coming out of Hollywood, though, where they're like, them signing petitions, all these actors and everything, trying to boycott or end this whole Netflix Paramount?
Yeah, man.
It's wild. You see what's happening with Live Nation and Ticketmaster. They're like, yo, you can't do that. You know what I mean? And we're just telling you now, you have to stop this. So it is curious, like, how much of the media distribution do you control? And then you start talking contracts, and it's almost going back to like old Hollywood with MGM and RKO and the couple that were like, you're in my stable, you ain't going nowhere. You want to make an indie movie? Yeah. Anyway, go ahead.
From our New York series, we got Jasmine Savoy, and she comes in, her and Mason Gooding come in, and they're like our characters that overlap the two.
So they are new Randy and fill in the blank camera person. That's okay. I'll remember a couple. We're going to spoil the crap out of this thing. And while you're looking for that, I do want to make a quick announcement. This is important. This is a cool one. We are giving away a copy of Scream 7. Scream 7, dude. I got a digital copy right here. I'm looking at the paper. I'm not going to show it to the camera because you could steal the code. But this code expires in just a couple months. So 6/31/2026. The way that you get this code, listen to me carefully. This is how you get this code. You go onto the comment section right below me, and you type in the word Scream 7 code. Scream 7 code. Maybe only one person is going to type that in, and you will win. If there's more than one person, then I'll just put it in a generator. We'll do it, maybe on the show I can pull a generator up, and we can do it that way and just pick a number or name at random. But just put Scream 7 code down in the comments, and you have a chance to win this. I'll show you the backside. This awesome digital copy of Scream 7, so you can add that to your collection. So yeah, do that, dude. Comment below. Scream 7. All right, did you get your IMDb?
I got it back up, dude, and right in time for Joel McHale.
Yes.
Joel McHale's in Scream 7.
He almost doesn't look like Joe McHale, and I feel like they gave us Joe McHale as a diversion. Okay, we're gonna spoil the crap out of this thing, you guys. Just so if you haven't seen it, try and win that digital code. Come back after you watch the movie, and then talk or listen to us talk the rest. So yeah, Joe McHale, I felt like was thrown in as a possible red herring because we've seen, like named actors and stuff like that. But as soon as the relationship developed with the daughter, I was like, there's no way it's him, dude. He cares way too much about this fight. This kid's a teenager. You know what I mean? Like, he would have killed her as a baby, maybe, and made her crazy. Not a teenager, but yeah.
And here, now the rest of the list is all the red herrings they threw in to try to throw us off.
Okay.
So we got Asa German, who was a big breakout in Wednesday, season 1. He was in season 2 too. He was the big creature.
Yes. Who was a great character. And then I can't remember the other friend's name, the blonde girl, but I remember her from stuff too.
McKenna Grace, dude.
And what
she was she was from that new Ghostbusters, and you can't recognize her because she's got dark brown hair with like curls and glasses. They nerd her up, but she's like super fucking hot and sexy.
No, see, I'm talking about the other girl, dude, the blonde who.
The opening girl
who was flying. No,
that's McKenna Grace, bro.
Oh, okay.
She's from Ghostbusters.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
And she was in Five Nights at Freddy's 2.
Yes, that's what I'm thinking of. Okay. Yeah, gotcha.
Okay, and then she's going to be playing Thelma in the new Daphne in the new fucking Scooby-Doo show on Netflix.
Dude, she could kill it as Daphne. She's got that quirky kind of voice like that.
Matthew Lillard is in this, guys. Confusingly enough.
He's in it a lot. This whole thing is confusingly enough, and we'll talk about confusingly enough. But yes, he's in it quite a bit. Quite a bit.
More than I expected.
Yes.
And we can't forget about old Ethan Embry.
Yes, dude. The great Ethan Embry. I love me some Ethan Embry, man. Ever since Empire Records, and he's so weird. Dude, slays.
Totally, dude. But he comes on bald and old, and I was like, what the fuck?
Yeah. But they did, you know what? There's this movie, I need to figure out what the name of it was, where he's a painter, and it's like heavy metal music. And it's got the guy from, what was the name of that movie? Now I can't even remember. Identity. He was the crazy guy in Identity that had all the things in it, whatever, He's in it, but Ethan Embry did great in that. But he's like jacked in that movie. I was like, dang, Ethan Embry, and like super sexy Ethan Embry. Anyway.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. You ready to hear what this movie's about?
Well, are you gonna say that we get some, or are we gonna save the rest of the cameos maybe until we'll spoil them as we go? Leave it.
The list is so much.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. When a new Ghostface killer emerges in the town where Sidney Prescott has built a new life, her darkest fears are realized as her daughter becomes the next target. Made for TV, Scream.
And the little town they live in is called Pine Grove, and I only know that because I grew up right next to a pine grove. Or I should say I don't know that, I remember that. I was like, Pine Grove. But we open up, and there's a lot... And someone gives a line like the seventh movie's all about nostalgia. I think it was Nerd Girl. And I'm like, so we open at the Mocker House, which has been turned into a Airbnb, which I think the real house I read is now. Like, you can actually go stay in the one or whatever. But this one is a full, like, true crime person's dream. They've got the tape on the floor where everybody died. He's laying down. They're like, look, they even got puddles of fake blood. And he's like, and I think this was the kid from that Dick documentary on Netflix, the mockumentary, who I don't know who this guy is, but I really like him. I'm pretty sure it's the same character. American something, but that was, man, that was too good. But he's taking pictures. His girlfriend's not so much into it. He's brought her along, and she's like, oh, I don't know. And he's like, come on, babe. This is where everybody died. I do like them demonstrating a little bit, I think, the problem our culture has with true crime right now in a lot of ways. This like all the time, nonstop thinking about murder and the macabre and whatnot. But he is really trying to get her into it. They get a phone call that's the Airbnb person, like, what's your favorite scary movie? And he even does the math on Friday the 13th. Jason would have been this old when he drowned. And she's like, well, Jason didn't actually drown. And he's like, oh, you got me. He's like, leave a 5-star review. We see a creepy animatronic Ghostface that he takes the mask off, and there's a robot under there, and it's like moving like, and she's like, there's a real Ghostface, blah, 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 blah. She goes into the living room. We see Ghostface at least 2 or 3 times in this movie, barely comes out of the shadow and then goes back in.
Yeah.
Very reminiscent of Michael Myers in the original Halloween. There's a few scenes that I felt like this is the original Halloween. Her being all alone on the street at the end reminded me. The Main Street looked like the H2O Main Street to me. I'm like, dude, I don't know if he shot it in the same place or whatever, but... So they're in this place. He tries to creep her out by dressing as Ghostface, and she smacks him in the head. Oh, babe, it's just me. Oh, okay, all right, let's go. Da 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 da. And he's like, "Fuck, Ghostface just moved." And she's like, "Shut up, quit trying to mess with me." He's like, "No, it really did." She's like, "It's motion activated, dummy." And he goes up and starts waving, and the thing moves, and the thing moves. And then, boom, grabs onto him and just, like, guts him. You know, we get that real fast. We get a pretty good through the Mocker house chase scene. End up upstairs where Ghostface falls over the balcony. And I'm going to stop right here for a second. I can buy Michael Myers being indestructible. I buy Jason Voorhees being indestructible. I buy Leatherface having like an inhuman strength, you know, growing up on a farm, all this stuff. Could take probably was beat his whole life. Could take, you know, all this stuff. Freddy Krueger, I buy. This is the toughest Ghostface I have ever seen, dude.
Yeah, he puts up with some shit.
I mean, hit in the face with a fire extinguisher. I don't know if anyone's ever held a full-size fire extinguisher loaded with CO2. You know what I mean?
This is heavy.
Dude, and the fall must have been 30 feet and barely winded. And she is dangling on the chandelier trying to get her toes over onto the thing. And don't fall. She falls. And one of my biggest problems with this movie starts right here. The kills are no fun. They just seem almost they seem like Ghostface just rolls over and holds the knife up. I was like, first off, that's probably, I don't know, 115 pounds of dead weight just landing straight on you. Like, you're not just going to be okay. You know, you're probably going to have bruises and stuff as you're out in public and things, you know. Like a human being just fell on your face. Your whole body. After you just fell and had to have, like, broke your back. If not, you'd have been wheezing for a minute straight. You're not pretending to be dead. You have no oxygen in you. Every bit of air just blasted straight out of your lungs, and you're ripping the mask off because you're panicking, thinking you're dying. So, but no, in all seriousness, I didn't think it was very inventive. You know, there wasn't anything. And again, it was like they kept pushing this nostalgia. Ghostface burns the house down after Ghostface dumps gas all over the girl and then walks out in this like fiery, like, I don't know if it was, we're burning down Woodsboro, if it was supposed to be, you know, but it was the same. It's the beginning is the ending of a different movie. And then we end at the beginning of the first movie. And they don't try to hide this from you. They almost tell you, hey, we're going to go back to where it all started. Da, 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 da. Somebody tied to a chair and you not being able to get there. Scream 7 title card. We get back introduced to Sidney, who runs a coffee shop. Sidney Evans at this point lives in Pine Grove.
Let's just talk about this for a minute. Why is Sidney anywhere other than a fucking private island running a machine gun factory? Because she's still unprepared.
Listen, dude, if anybody had reason to go full Jamie Lee Curtis in Halloween 2018, Sidney Prescott.
Sidney 1,000,000%. That's what I thought.
Death follows this girl. Death follows this person everywhere she goes. It's bad.
Yeah.
So she's pretty good though. She's okay at the coffee shop. We meet her kid, who actually I think we are introduced the first time to the boyfriend sneaks in the window exactly like the original Scream.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh, I was just sitting. And he's almost doing a Skeet Ulrich. He's just like, oh, I was sitting at home watching. Because he said The Exorcist, I think. in the original. I was sitting at home watching The Exorcist, and that got me thinking about us. And he's like, "Oh, I was sitting at home watching Stab, and it got me thinking about us, that I've never crept in through your window." She's like, "Oh, you're pretending to be my mom's killer boyfriend? That's normal." But she lets him in. They start messing around. I thought this was clever when Sidney calls him out from behind the bed. I was like, that was good. She's like, "Hey, how you doing back there? Why don't you get up? We're going to..."
But also, she didn't fucking immediately call the cops. There's this fucking asshole climbing in my daughter's window.
Right. But
you know how this ends from myself?
Yeah, but she had known that they were together. It's not like he was a stranger and stuff like that. You know, she knew his voice, and when she said it, he was like, "Hey, Miss Evans."
Right, but don't trust. She's Sidney Prescott, dude. You don't trust anybody.
Prescott?
Yeah.
Or is it Prescott?
Prescott.
So either way, we are introduced to the kid, and the relationship is established but a bit tumultuous. As her daughter is growing into, adulthood, they even say something about sex. She's like, "You having sex?" She's like, "No, we're not ready yet." She's like, "Well, if you're asking the question, you shouldn't, but da-da-da." She's like, "You never tell me anything about anything." Well, you've read everything. You've seen all the movies. Do a deep dive on the internet. She's like, "I don't want to hear it from the internet, Mom. I want to hear it from you." And she's like, "No, Tatum," which, of course,
Tatum, like,
right. And to name
I was like, ugh.
And to name your kid, she does give a good line, though. I do like that when Gail's interviewing her, and she says, "You named your daughter after a teenage girl who was brutally murdered." She said, "No, I named her after a childhood friend who I loved dearly and was the last person I could ever trust." Now, I thought that was good.
But also more than the relationship in the first movie showed. Like, they weren't even that close.
That is true, I guess. They were just, I don't know. Who knows?
I felt betrayed, regardless.
You know what, though? She when she was at Tatum's house, she was very comfortable with Dewey. Like, she had been around him for a long time. Like, "Hey, when I'm wearing the thing, said it's..." So I feel like they probably did have some sort of a youth together. But either way, this girl now has to carry the name of her dead friend.
Right.
I'm like, that's awesome. So she does all this. We see the relationship between Sidney and her husband. It seems great, very supportive of each other. She even tells her, because the kid comes out wearing the jacket that she wore all throughout Scream 2 at college, and she's like, "Hey," and that eye roll is how I felt through a lot of this, dude. I'm like, come on, you guys. Like, we don't.
I was like, the fucking jacket, dude. We're going to pull off the jacket.
Right.
Deep pull and fucking lame.
Right.
Like, why would you keep that jacket?
Because there had to be the comment about, "Oh, you were in theater, Mom?" She's like, "Yeah, I stopped in college."
Exactly. Like, she didn't know her mom was in fucking theater, and she's like all about theater. And
she's like, "I've seen all the Stab movies and stuff. I feel like Stab 2 probably would have been about the second movie that we saw. It would have been those.
And she's still like, "Why won't you tell me about your life, Mom?"
Right. This girl's a great actor, though. To your point, I think
she's great. She's going to be the next big thing,
dude. All three of the girls I thought did good, given the material that they were handed. I thought everybody, for the most part, tried. This movie, I don't know how many times it was rewritten, how many hands it went into for like edits and cuts like that, because I don't know if they ever let us know about Gail's shaking and pills. That had to have been in there somewhere, dude, because Sidney sees it for a second. She sees it, and like, really, we've got 5 seconds of film establishing something. And if you've ever made any kind of a movie, you better be moving the story forward with every frame. And then we get a close up on like Gail's shaky hand or shoulder at one point, but we never get like, "Oh man, I've got something," or, there's nothing at all. So I do think there was probably some rewriting or some editing or some producers who were just like, "Not that, they want this, and not that. We got to make sure we get a reference from every other of the 6 movies in here. Can you do that in an hour and 30 minutes and establish a standalone story? No? Well, do it anyway. Can you do it?" And
figure it out. Ask AI if you can't figure it out.
And the saddest thing is this was the biggest box office, I think, next to Scream 3 or something like that.
All of them. So we're gonna have Scream 17.
They're already writing the 8th one. We shared it on the Facebook page. If you're not following along on the socials, definitely do, dude. We share a lot of cool stuff there. Just industry stuff and a lot of other cool stuff. But yeah, so Scream 8's already 100% happening because you make that much money and it's gonna keep doing its thing. Okay, so we get the kids going to school. I do like that the one girl acknowledges, she says, if anybody has any reason to be an overprotective psycho, it is your mother. Yeah,
Right.
okay, that makes sense. And then we see Sydney at the coffee shop where we meet old girl from Pitch Perfect, who is her neighbor, and her kid's a super weirdo. He's like, oh, hey, Miss Prescott. And she's
Yeah.
like, it's Evans. And he's like, oh, man, I want to do a true crime podcast real bad. And you would be like, and she comes in, she's like, stop, hey, you dummy, da 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 da. And they sit down.
I really thought he was the killer because he was from Wednesday, and I was like, he's so weird, and I was like, they're not trying to hide it, but it was the obvious, like,
Right. So as soon as I seen the killer the first time on screen, I was like, that's the killer right there. Like I was like,
really.
it stood out like a sore thumb. I was like, I don't know why, but I know this is attached to the end of this movie. I know
Right.
this is attached. And so they sit down and have this heart to heart about kids. And she's like, oh, my ex-husband was a dick, blah, blah, blah. You know, try, do your best. You can't, blah, 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 blah. And they have this good talk. It's not long before Ghostface shows up because she gets the call. She's at work and she gets a call from Stu Macher. Scars all over Matthew Lillard. I love Matthew Lillard. I don't care,
Love him.
dude. I
I
love
love
him.
it. Yeah.
Scars all over his face from where we are led to believe the TV smashed him in Scream 1, which again,
And that he's just been sitting out 6 other killings that
right.
he could have totally been a part of. He was waiting for the
Well,
7th.
they give us some reason for that, but we'll get there. So he's like, hey, Sid, like, always had a thing for you, Sydney. And it's like, dude, we didn't need that line either.
No, didn't need it. We remembered.
We are grown people who grew up with this. It's been 30 years, you know. We know.
That's why they felt like the writers were like, we got to remind them. It's been 30 years. They haven't seen the first movie in 30 years.
Like, I watched it yesterday.
Fuck you guys.
So he's like, oh, what about Tatum? I know your daughter. It's crazy. I'm coming. And then he turns the thing and he is, I want to say, at the school. And we get this rehearsal where the one kid messes the thing up and she's flying all over. We get the understanding that the rig can be manipulated and go bad. While
Also, in the world of all these school shootings, Stu showing up at the fucking school all scarred up like that, being like, I'm coming to get your daughter, Sid. Like,
Right.
I think somebody's going to, like the principal, the janitor, is going to be like, hey, motherfucker, you can't be here.
Well, we do learn that it is not Stu Macher. This movie tries to tell us a little bit about fear of AI, but in the worst way possible.
Yeah.
So, but there is the biggest component of this movie is predicated on the belief in this deep fake technology.
Right.
So Stu's there. We see the mishap. The director's a straight tool. He even tells him,
What a prick. I was like, I don't think high school's teachers are allowed to be this fucking brutal
No.
anymore.
Yeah, because even when old girl dies, he's like, oh, she didn't even have an understudy. This girl's guts are all over, dude.
This was from when Kevin Williamson was in high school. He had a teacher like that for sure.
Probably. And I want, we can address this right now too, is, when Kevin Williamson wrote the original Scream and Scream, I think he did 2, he did maybe a couple, I don't know, was a young man.
Yes.
He's not
fresh off the creek.
Right. Fresh off the creek, dude, which anybody, that's a throwback right there. If you want to go dig up Lil Duke's Creek episode about hiding out with his homie in the dark to watch Dawson's Creek. So I don't feel that same connection.
No.
Right.
Me neither. That's where I lost the John Hughes thing.
Right.
Because I was like, John Hughes kept it going even in his older age.
He because he understood the humanity. I don't know. Yeah. John Hughes just had this magic, man, like truly magic.
Yeah. How did you feel about the musical kickbacks in this thing?
Oh, you're talking about the actual music, like the cues?
Yeah, like the cues and shit were like,
Like,
what?
the red right hand on my
I was like, again? No.
right. And I feel like there was also like some sad Creed sounding song or something like that in there somewhere. Nothing against Creed, but it had that feeling, you know what I mean? I get what but all of the throwbacks, and we haven't even got into when they start talking about it. So the first killing is at the school, I think, right? Is the friend who gets her guts. She's up there practicing, and she's like, hey, okay, let's rehearse. All the lights go out. She gets yanked up, starts going back and forth, and Ghostface just kind of stands under her with a knife and slices her leg.
To your point, it just seemed lazy and not well thought out. And as soon as they showed her up on that thing, I was like, Ghostface is going to come in and get her while she's stuck
up on
there.
This thing, right?
Bullshit. Yeah, everybody's going to leave her up there for sure. You know,
and I feel like you would have to have at least one more person there. And supposedly all the other kids, you know, everybody's a red herring in this for a little while, and they all tell each other, well, you're a suspect, you're a suspect, you're a suspect. There's always more than one. It's got to be the boyfriend. She's down there making out with her boyfriend, Tatum is, and then the other girl was wardrobe. She claimed to be somewhere else. We get to the cops showing up. Okay, we got to get Tatum. We got to get out of here. Let's go to the house. They get to the house. He's got the whole police squad sweep this house.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, they're all gone. Don't leave a cruiser outside. Don't leave anybody anywhere. It's just him and his family. Like, she's like, grab your go bag. I unpacked it a while ago, Mom. I didn't want to.
Also, I can't fucking believe that Sidney really loves this guy. It's too convenient that she married a cop. Like, no way did she fucking go through all these cops till she found one she really loved.
You know what, though? That must have been, like, maybe it was just a Dewey thing. She had some subconscious, like, to replace Dewey.
She's got a weird Dewey sexual thing, like...
I don't think it's sexual. I think it's more like Big Brother, like she lost a brother, not sexual.
Oh, yeah.
I don't think so. Maybe, I mean, now her and Gail, I don't know, they became, like, best friends at the end, like, let's ride. Thelma and Louise this shit. Which, when we get to the end, man, I had an observation. I don't know if you saw the same thing, but...
I think I did.
Okay, so Ghostface somehow gets into the house. They didn't leave anybody outside. There's no nothing. They're packing up, and the light, they go to the bedroom. I thought you turned the light off. No, I thought you turned the light off. Now we got a standoff against Ghostface where everybody's fighting. Ghostface can fight like crazy, you know. And
yeah, this is Jackie Chan's Ghostface.
And I would love it, dude. If took the mask off and it was Jackie Chan, I'd be like,
he goes from being like 6 feet to like 4'2".
I thought about that as well during this movie, and through all the Ghostface movies, I was like, you know, the actual heights of some of these. But either way,
yeah,
they have this big brawl with Ghostface in the house, and I mean, Ghostface goes through a beating. Sidney's beating on him. He's beating on him. He gets stabbed. No, gets chucked down the stairs. He rolls all the way. Dad, Tatum, run. Beep, 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 beep. Panic room. Okay. Why
panic room, but no lock on the front door. No lock on the attic. but panic room.
But why did they leave the panic room? Why not just stay there until...
Why not make the house the panic room?
Right. You're trapped in here with us now.
Yeah.
But no, they decided, or the way out is through the walls. There's a sneak through the walls, and Ghostface starts stabbing. Sidney somehow has enough time to bend his knife around a 2x4, one of the support studs right there.
Yeah, she's a strong lady then, because if you've even seen replicas of that knife.
If you're right, though. That's a thick piece of knife. However, in this, I do believe she is tough. She seems believably strong.
That wasn't the part I was so much worried about. I was like, oh, so he's installed like X-ray goggles in his scream mask because he can see right where they're at.
And he kept tapping. Tap, 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 tap.
That don't do shit.
Now, you can find in between studs, but I don't think you're going to find people.
And I was thinking Agent Smith.
How would you know, like, they're going right that way? But either way, they end up getting out after, I want to say Sidney gets a cut. I don't think Tatum gets cut at this point. Boom, they get out. Ghostface tries to go downstairs. Dad's not there. Ghostface gets outside. Dad tackles him. Boom. Now we got a big fight in the front yard. And then Ghostface is in the street just standing there looking at him and and I want to say we even might have got a little bit of like Dewey's type theme or Gale's theme, that like don 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 don, whatever that little thing is. And then out steps Gale Weathers, who just ran over Ghostface and steps out like no big deal. It's just like, oh, what's going on?
Murdered a person.
Right. And which was another thing I caught was like Mark, that's Sidney's husband, the police officer, the chief of police, is like, hey, lady, you can't come through here. And she's like, I'm with the news and stuff. And as soon as she meets Sidney, she's like, oh, how's Mark and the kids? And I was like, so Mark doesn't recognize Gale Weathers, this person that, yeah.
Well, she does look a little different. We don't. Might have been a couple of years since he's seen her, dude. If he punched her face, it would literally crack and fall off. Like it would be over, dude.
Oh, poor Courtney. I shouldn't say poor Courtney. You can make your own decisions. You're an adult person, but it's like you said. Like, who is it? Swamp Thing? Toxic Avenger? I shouldn't say that. I shouldn't say that. But it's true. It is true. So they reunite. Okay, we know there's only one, or there's more than one. There's always more than one. Let's team up. Oh, you weren't there in New York. Good thing you avoided that one. It was a disaster. I'm like, come on, man. Come on, man. What are we doing? It's almost like the writers or whoever's like, we're throwing shade a couple times in this movie.
Yeah.
You know, and I think one of them, I don't know, dude. Correct me if I'm wrong. Sidney delivers a line very close to the end of the movie where she said, past my prime, fuck you, bitch. Like, I wonder if there was ever a meeting where somebody's like, hey, Nev, you're past your prime. You know, we can't offer you that much money. Like, yeah, and she was like, can I put this shit in there? Like,
for sure, dude.
But either way, we get a call. I want to say Sidney gets a call when Gale's with her, and it's Stu, and she's like, "Oh, can it be the real Stu?" Like, I don't know, but he sure is talking crazy, and he's like, "I'm at the restaurant because there's been a curfew put in, and I might be missing something here. I don't fully remember, but all the kids are hanging out at the restaurant. The curfew, we get the Red Right Hand song with everybody turning the locks, putting the closed for curfew signs down. Town is completely empty."
Except for all the kids who are at a party.
Right. All the kids are hanging out. All the kids
always.
And she's like, I thought she was with you. And he's like, I thought she was with you. And I'm like, dude, come on, you guys. You're that, you know what I mean? And you're living in the age of like trackers and stuff.
Right, AI. She doesn't have a phone on her. They didn't fucking.
Sydney would probably have an app that's like, tell me every time she gets to a new place. Anytime she moves, ping me.
She would have to fucking eat every morning, eat a fucking AirPod, dude. Fucking and just eat it, and like it just goes in her tummy, and then he should fucking track her everywhere, dude. And the killer can't get it until she poops it out, dude, and fucking eats it the next day.
Like just like that movie, I Saw the Devil, dude. That Korean movie with that serial killer who the dude beat him up and shoved the tracker in him.
Yep, dude.
Great movie. Great movie. So yes, the kids are at the bar, restaurant that old girl's parents own. The other two, the interns for Gale, are there with them trying to put everything together. That's where we see full Randy 2.0 on display. Oh, well, it would be this, and it would be that, and you got to put this together, and no, and this one, and then the weird kid, he's just like, I'm not the killer. I'm not a killer just because I'm weird. And she's like, I kind of like weird. And he's like, dude, and just like falls off the bar, and those two go walking off together. I'm like, there no chemistry, no nothing, just, oh, I like weird. Okay, let's roll. And
let's do this.
Right.
I mean, I hope that's how kids are today. Like for their sake.
So they're all here hanging out. All kinds of bad ends up breaking out at the bar. Bunch of people die at the bar. Sidney, though, before that, her and Gale have a plan to go on. She's like, you still want that interview? Damn right I do.
So stupid. This whole scene, dude, I was just like, go fuck yourself, movie. Go fuck yourself, Scream 7. I was so mad, dude. And they just roll into a movie studio, dude, and fucking Gail Weathers like, I'm taking over. Whatever's on air is off. I got the interview of the century that nobody cares about because it was something that happened 30 fucking years ago.
Well, no, because she wanted to talk about the current murders, though. It's just the fact that she was going to do it with Sidney. But either way, the local news guy, he's like, "Oh, this is going to be my big break." He's like the new Gale, I think. Where this guy's going to be our new Gale Weathers because he almost.
I hope not.
I hope not too. But either way, he's all excited. This can be my big break and da 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 da. So they're talking. Gail upsets Sidney, asking about her kids and stuff. They walk off camera. Her phone was plugged in because they're trying to bait him, get this Stu to call. And the boyfriend, though, they had given, he's apparently an AI genius, and he's like, I can look at some of the footage and see if it's, and that's going on in the background as well. They're off camera. Sydney's all upset, like, what the hell, dude? Like, why? Blah, 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 blah. And she's like, what would you do if I asked you about Dewey out there? She's like, I'd say I'm fine. Like I do 500 times every day. For reals. For reals.
They play the fucking music in the back. Doon, doon, doon. Remember Dewey? Right. Boom, boom, boom. Right. Down, down, down. Down. She gets a tear. And you just see the crack in her fucking skin. Just, oh no, moisture on my face. I can't have that. It cracks the porcelain.
Dude, it does. Like, it's so tight on the cheeks.
Like, if she sneezed, dude, she'd pop a stitch. I swear to God.
Poor Courtney Cox, dude. Why are we picking on Courtney Cox? She's a national treasure. But you're right though, man. Like, anybody watching this movie, tell us if we're wrong. Comment on that shit.
It looked like they got Greg Nicotero to do Courtney Cox's makeup.
Like, they're like, Courtney, this is the wax figure from the wax museum. We built an animatronic to put it on.
The air conditioning, though, fucking went out at the wax museum, so the statue melted a little bit, but no one's gonna notice.
Right. And those lips, right? Her lips are so.
Gigi.
So Ghostface, Sidney and them, Ghostface ends up calling. And the cameras aren't on, though. And he's like, oh, no, this is my big break. What are we doing? We gotta blah, blah, blah. What they could get on there? Oh, crap, it's Stu. It's still Stu. And he's like, uh-oh, I'm here at the restaurant. Where your kids at? And she's like, no.
How come he knows more where her kid's at than she does?
Right. And I think we might get some of that because there was another individual involved that you could have pinged the location and it was the same place. But either way, she's like, oh, shit, Tatum, I got to go. Gail's like, I'm going to stay here. And I think I read this is the first of the Scream movies that Gail does not get injured by Ghostface in some way. And I think she was like, dude, I'm done.
Yeah, she's like, I'm 80 years old. I can't be doing this shit anymore.
Okay, so Ghostface gets to the restaurant while Sidney is on her way. Mark had been stabbed in the garage. They have a big house, too. I bet probably from Sidney's book.
And they're building onto it.
Yeah, it had to have been Sidney's book money.
No way, it's cheaper police money, dude.
Right. Because they talk about Into the Darkness, a couple times and how she's been out of the public spotlight since writing that and doing the tours and all this stuff. He gets stabbed up, grabbed up in some clear drop cloth, yanked up, boom, and just left there. And we see Ghostface just fade away into the distance. Now we're at the bar. The pizza's burning. Everybody's a suspect. Every single person ever. Tatum's like, hey, boyfriend, I need to go to my mom. You got to take me because whatever reason. Oh, she saw her mom on TV. That's what it was. They turned it on in the bar. And they're like, oh, shit, dude. Like, this is wild. And she's like, yeah, I should probably go check on her. Even
It's
though
like, I saw Ghostface with my mom. She's like, no, that was Courtney Cox. You're fine.
right. I saw a pumpkin head. Wrong movie. They take off, and she opens his computer and now is suspect because he's got AI video of him yelling in front of a green screen like, I'll kill you, you bitch. He's like, oh, I was just trying to see if I could recreate it, that's all. And she's
As
like,
one does to your girlfriend.
Right. And now they did ask him to do it. He's the one that they were like, can you see if you can decode if this is real or not? Because he's like, whoever did it, there's no shadows, they're consistent everywhere and no pixelations anywhere. And there's shadows. She grabs she grabs the laptop and smacks him right in the face with it twice. Lays dude out. And I'm like, good for you, girl. Be strong. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just like her mom, she's suspect that, her boyfriend is the killer. Meanwhile, back at the bar, the killer is there and we get a cat and mouse of the girl who was with the creep in the kitchen. That goes on for a minute. The two interns end up making it out, but she dies after a crazy fight on the bar and like all through the kitchen. And I'm talking about this Ghostface is taking a beating with kitchen utensils that they're blunt objects that have got to hurt, dude. Corners, edges, everything. I don't think we appreciate how fragile the human being is when you start beating it with kitchen utensils. But Ghostface takes a good beating, spills out into the bar, splash, runs her down, smashes her head through everything, and I think she ends up with some glass in her neck, kind of squirting out. Gets to creep guy, ends up putting him on the gnarliest beer pull, like a tap topper that I've ever seen. It's a straight spike.
Kind of like that one.
It's a straight spike. The only thing I didn't like is when they turned it, like his head falls forward. His head falls forward because it was the effect for me. I feel it would have done a little bit better. Yeah, maybe some gurgly noises or something, but it's just kind of like beer shooting out of his head. And so now these two are dead. She is walking to go home because she had run away from boyfriend's Jeep. Tatum did. He catches up to her in the street and they have this moment like, oh, I love you so much, and he's real sweet and stuff. Like, I told you it wasn't me. As soon as he says it, knife in the gut, Ghostface is right there. I mean, a lot of hits, dude, straight in the belly. There's no coming back from that. Now we get her and Ghostface chasing each other around. She hides at one point, smacks him with a sign that's outside. And then she gets into the latte place. And Sidney, I don't remember why Sidney was on foot at this point either.
There was a lame, she couldn't get the vehicle to go any further or whatever, so she just decides to run the fucking 6 blocks. And I was like, I don't care why she's doing this, it's stupid. She could have called an Uber faster than that.
Curfew, dude. They were under curfew.
Whatever. It was just, by this point in the movie, I was so fucking checked out.
But you're right. She's, I figure she would have been, and I look at things like this, I'm like, for the most part, it's all you got to do is keep up a consistent jog, because most people are going to sprint to try and catch you. Burn a lot of energy sprinting. If you've ever sprinted versus long run, it's two very different processes. I'm like, if you could just kind of jog, you know what I mean, for like half a mile, look back, they're like probably a quarter mile back. Bye. Keep going. Either way, Sydney's phone goes off that Tatum is inside the coffee place, the Little Latte, I believe it was called. Tatum's inside there. She starts pulling up the cameras and looking at stuff and is like, hey, there's a gun in the office. Like, you got to get to the office. And she's hiding in there at first, just down inside there, Oh, we forgot, though, they went to the mental hospital, which, again, I had a problem with. This actually is a big part. So we should mention that. Her and Gail, Sidney and Gail, had gone to the psychiatric hospital, Fallbrook Psychiatric Hospital.
During their investigation.
Right. Because the first guy they took the mask off had just gotten out of this Fallbrook institution. This was the Ghostface who got ran over. Whoever's listening right now is probably like, these idiots, dude. They didn't even tell us who was under the mask way back at the beginning. Because that was something that I think he was trying to do to differentiate as, kill a Ghostface early. We've never seen that before early on in the movie. And so Sidney and Gail go and look at his room. He's got a picture of Tori Spelling because she's, I think, starred in Stab, which is...
Yeah, she was in Stab.
Yeah, but he's got crazy drawings all over the place, and Ethan Embry is the orderly that's showing them the room. And he recognizes them. And they're like, can we see the room? And he's like... Yeah, yeah, come on, this way. So then he tells
he's been an orderly for 10 years, too. No one has been an orderly in a mental institution for 10 years.
Right.
That job sucks ass.
Unless you're crazy.
Unless you're fucking nuts.
So then he starts talking about this John Doe who had been there. Because up until this point, we're still led to believe that Stu could possibly, what? Stu's alive? After getting... I have a 24-inch CRT TV in my tattoo studio, in my booth. It's got to weigh 200 pounds. The one they were watching on, those old, big, 32-inch, big bag projection TVs, his head would have exploded under that. And there was something about the files were lost, and I would have probably exhumed the body and been like, "Yo, can we?"
And he got stabbed 42 times, and it went too deep. We all fucking know that,
right? Yeah, but somehow Stu survived.
Yeah.
So, but when they're there, he starts telling them about this John Doe character who had a room down the way. Which I was also like, so you guys just left his stuff? They're like, oh, he left a couple of weeks ago. I'm like, you didn't fill that bed yet? Like, dude, usually you turn them around because you get that state funding. You get that money every time you turn a bed around. But they're like, oh, yeah, he was here, came in, I don't know, 96, 97, 98, somewhere right around there.
Somewhere right about the time of that first Stab movie.
Right. Had trauma all over his face. Looked like TV fell on it.
Hates going in the TV room. Hates it.
Right. And so they're like, okay, that's strange. Maybe it really is Stu Macher. And weirder things have happened. They've said stuff like that throughout the movie as well. All right, now we're back to Tatum in the office, gets the gun. Sidney... And I don't know where Dad is all this time. I mean, we kind of get an idea, but I don't know if they had him because this seems like a big time jump that nobody checked on him, or he didn't call hey, we're supposed to be going, we're supposed to be bailing out, we're supposed to take off. However, she gets to the office, boards it up real quick, boom, boom, and the whole movie she's been, am I shy? Am I timid? Tell me. Oh, I'll never live up
if you have to ask.
Right.
The answer is yes.
Right. Right. And so she's getting this strength, and we're seeing some of this strength grow in her, just like her mother did 30 years ago. Guns in here. Code your birthday. Doot, doot, doot. I don't know if I can do it, Mom. And she's like, you can do it. Just put the little red dot on. That's all you got to do. Okay, now point towards the wall. And she's like, okay. And Sidney's looking at it from two different camera angles, Ghostface, because the Ghostface beating on the door. And we're seeing it, which is very strange. It's that's a new layer of media that we have that is common now. It's common. Like a lot of people have cameras just around places, or CCTV and all this stuff that is everywhere. But she's watching both. She's like, okay, sweetie, all you got to do is put the thing, pull the trigger, aim at the calendar. Unload, and she tells her, aim for center mast. I'm like, she don't know how big. Well, I guess they
through the fucking wall,
right?
To someone who's never fucking even picked up a gun before, Yeah, and the kick doesn't just take it right out of her fucking high school hand. Like, I was like, this is bullshit.
That looked like at least a 40 caliber handgun, if not.
That was an 80 caliber. It was an 80 caliber handgun.
I mean, I don't know exactly what it was, but it looked like a decent sized gun. And you're right, she held that.
It looks like RoboCop's gun,
dude. No way, that gun's.
Yeah, she just like.
She held it, doom, doom, doom. We watched Ghostface, blah, blah, blah. Sidney's still on the phone, like, gotta shoot him in the head, gotta shoot him, get out there and shoot him in the head, get out there and shoot him in the head. She's like, okay. And she's moving the stuff, and I'm on my way. Again, I don't know why she wouldn't just be like, just stay in there till I get there. Clearly, they're not going to get in. But she was like, I can't make it. I can't. I feel like there maybe, Pine Grove seems like a place where kids might leave a bike in the yard, where they're not worried about their bike getting stolen. It was very friendly. The economy looked good. All of downtown, all the shops were open. People had signs to flip for curfew. You know what I mean? I feel like Sidney would have been able to find a pedal bike or something, or a scooter.
One of those scooters with a credit card. She's trying to plug and put it in real fast.
And then the battery's dead. So she goes out, pushes the thing open. Of course, Ghostface pops up, and then they get into a scuffle. She knocks Ghostface down. I don't remember with what, but she knocks Ghostface down, but then turns around, and then there's another Ghostface walking right in the front door. So we're up to 3 Ghostfaces. Ding, ding, ding. We're up to 3 Ghostfaces in this one. The Ghostfaces call Sidney. If you want your daughter back, you gotta go to where it all began. Just how it all started. The biggest nostalgia button we could ever push. Where the heart is. Where are you? Yeah. Now we're at Sidney Prescott's house. This is where, I shouldn't say this is where, but the movie definitely takes a crazy turn here for me.
This is where it takes a crazy turn?
There was a lot I can forgive. I am someone who Halloween 6, The Curse of Michael Myers, is one of my personal favorites in the series. And I know it's a movie not a lot of people like. I can respect something. It's like I am a fan of the Scream franchise, so I take the good with the bad. And maybe that comes from being such a comic book reader for so long. I've read terrible arcs, and then I've read really good arcs. It's like, I just want to be here for the character. I'm here for Batman. Right. I'm here for Catwoman. I'm here for this and that, like in this. And I want to, we've talked about it before. You got to vote with your dollars. And even though it killed it at the box office, I do have a Ghostface mask signed by Neve. I got to meet Neve one time. Gem of a human being. And knowing that they were trying to undercut her and stuff like that, I was like, you know what? I'm going to vote with my money because I feel like she deserves that. She is our Scream Queen, dude. She is our generation's, like, the longevity there. Like, nobody else has been, I don't think, in that many, continued movies. And we'll probably get 1 or 2 more. Who knows? However, let's settle in for this one. Oh. This is a house out of some Ray Bradbury stuff. They have screens everywhere. There's an iPad and apparently there was another kid too, because there was a younger one that was with grandma. Remember, they were on the phone on the iPad in the kitchen. Dad and Mom, Sidney and Mark, were there, and they're like, "Hey, baby, have fun with me, Ma, or Gigi, or whoever." Right. And so they got iPads, TVs all over, and the first TV pops on, and it's Stu, and he's like, "Hey, Sid, we're back, da-da-da-da-da." She starts looking around like, come out, and she's got great tactical skills. She did train. You see it in some of the fighting, which makes sense. And she's got all these good tactical skills and stuff like that, and she'll turn one TV off and walk to another room. The other TV will pop on, and then he's there again like, "Hey, Sid." But then all of a sudden, Stu starts morphing into every character. Not every character, but we get Roman.
Everyone they could get.
Roman from Scream.
And they're all older. They didn't even fucking de-age them to make it make sense. Well, they were just like,
Well,
Here they are.
see,
Here's our cast of folks.
the Stu thing made sense because they wanted him to believe that he was in that institution for 20 years, that he was the John Doe. And the scars were from the TV cracking on his head. But you're right. Everybody else, you think it would have been the last known image because why would you age them?
Right.
I don't know.
Nope.
And I don't think this...
Mom from Toy Story was in there.
Oh, you're right.
But they couldn't get Skeet, dude. They even threw Dewey in there, which made no fucking sense. And they didn't get Skeet.
Because
fuck this movie, dude.
No, what did Dewey say though? He's like, "You let me die, Sid," but he had his hair was, I don't.
Yeah, like he just like woke up in the morning, dude, and fucking what do you call that? Like cameoed it in, dude. No, he cameoed it in. Like,
right.
They paid him $200, dude, for Scream 7.
You know what? I'm so glad he's getting whatever little cut he gets of my money that I paid for the digital copy. But you can get yours for free. Don't forget if you just
all you got to do is
put in the code Scream or put in the code comment below Scream 7 code. And you can win that digital copy. It expires in a couple months, though. So we will pick it. Like I said, even if only one person comments, I'm going to give it away to them.
Get on that, folks. Get on it.
You might be able to get on it. But, okay, so we get, so we get Scream 2 representation. We get Scream 3 representation. We get, like you said, Dewey, who, you let me die. Sid.
They couldn't afford Oliphant either.
Right. But it's... and we didn't get anything, of course, from New York because that wouldn't make sense because she wasn't, we
don't want to make sure this makes sense.
You ain't lying, dude. So now she walks around, goes outside, and Tatum is there in the chair tied up just like Steve was in the original movie.
I'm surprised they didn't bring Drew Barrymore back.
Right, you let me die.
Remember me, Sid? I went to your school. We had art class together.
This is your fault. I'm dead.
We made that fucked up ashtray. Remember?
Right. So Tatum's tied up. Sid runs out. Ghostface comes up from behind, knife to the neck immediately, the big shiny, knife. She throws a gun down, but the camera pans up and we see another gun tucked in the waist.
Fucking John McClane style. I can't believe it wasn't taped to her back, dude.
Right. Right. Go ahead. We seen Die Hard. So now we get the reveal. One of two, we get the reveal.
And it's more meh, meh.
It's not even the reveal, it's the explanation for me that was just like
if he would have pulled the mask off, dude, and it was Goofy and just his big old ears came out, I would not have been more shocked. It was me the whole time, Sidney.
Right. I told you what was going to happen if you came back, Nev.
I'm Mickey Mouse and I'm in public domain now, so I'm the Scream 7 killer.
Right. I'd take it. I don't want to say I'd take it over this, but
Scream with mouse ears, dude.
Yo, I've been playing this game on PlayStation though that Will recommended to me. A really good friend of mine called Mouse PI. It's like a hand-drawn thing where you're a noir detective, but kind of Mickey Mousey. Like the animation is there, but it's sweet, man. It's sweet.
Huh.
I play it on Twitch. I just started Twitch for the first time. If anybody wants to follow along. So anyway, she's tied up. We get the big reveal. Dun dun dun. It's creepy guy from Fallbrook. Right. We knew it was you. And he's like, oh man, I got the other guy, Carl. I couldn't take it, we're obsessed with this stuff and whatever his, exposition.
I would have got away with it too if it wasn't for you rotten kids.
but you don't fully understand his motivations till you meet the next killer, because they are the puppet master more than anybody else. There's another killer. All of a sudden, another killer comes out, takes off the mask, shakes the blonde hair. Not the friendly neighbor. Who, from the rip, I was like, she's the killer. Soon as I saw her on the screen, I
Really?
knew what it was that just hit in me. I was like, yep, 100%. She's one of them. Or
I seriously thought she was gonna pull her face away, dude. Like pull like a fucking Mission Impossible, and it was gonna be someone else. Because like this is so dumb, it can't be her.
okay, so the neighbor pops off. All of a sudden, she's wild crazy. She's like, wait, didn't you? I mean, this means you killed your own kid, right? And she's like, yeah, he was a turd, just like his dad. He's a turd. And killed him violently. Not just a little bit. Yeah, you know, she's clearly unwell. These two had met at Fallbrook. And she got, you know, kind of orchestrated the whole thing between all of them. And the orderly Ethan Embry is just kind of her little like puppet. He'll go do something and she'll be like, not yet, dummy. Like, you got to wait for. So they go, they drag dad out. Mark's been gone for hours, I feel like. And then they kick him like, oh, he's a tough one, isn't he? He's like, and we had seen a little bit, they have this family combat training, even though there's a big push towards, you never prepared me for this, even though they've got these orchestrated, like, move the eyes a little bit, like, okay, yeah, drop. You know, tackle goes face down the stairs. But here, they drag him out, kick him, he's alive a little bit. And she starts to give the exposition. This is our big reveal, man. This is why, you know, the motivation to murder your own child. That's a lot. That's very, very heavy. Maybe something I don't know. Something that's hard for
I want to murder my children almost every day, dude. It's not that far stretch.
I would never. I couldn't even imagine hurting my child. But I also wouldn't imagine like putting their head on a beer tap and sliding it down and then sitting there and like staring for a while.
Yeah.
So, right. So she says, Sidney, your book brought me out of the darkness. I killed that.
That's the title of my book.
I killed that piece of shit ex-husband of mine. And it was because of you. I felt strong. I felt big. And then you left. So I found a way to move in next to you. Because the world can't be here without Sidney Prescott. But not just Sidney Prescott. You got to be at the other end of a knife killing people. You got to be strong. You got to be big. And Sidney's like, oh, man. And dude's over here like, whatever. Dad pulls a knife out of his back. He's slicing away at the Tatum's duct tape, I think it was, around her ankles or something like that. And they're all like doing this kind of standoff. There's like, woo, wah, 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 where Mark and Sidney and Tatum are all looking at each other. You know, they're formulating stuff. I wasn't prepared.
Oh, yeah.
You have to be, right, you have to be prepared to pull off some stuff like that. That takes a lot of training to pull it off. So she keeps talking and she tells her, I'm going to kill you in front of Tatum because that'll turn Tatum into the new Sidney Prescott. That was the motivation.
That was fucking dumb. So dumb. And she's like, we are the 6th group of people to figure this to try this.
Right.
We just thought we'd give it a shot. 7 times the charm. I guess 8 now.
Right.
Fuck.
And a series. 7's about nostalgia. It's all about nostalgia.
I felt the nostalgia.
Dude, so many times I felt the nostalgia. But not in a good way. Not in a good way.
No, like I needed to shower the nostalgia off after this movie.
Right. Like I recently, when we went to Astronomicon, I picked up a couple of vinyls. I got Monster Squad on vinyl, which is...
I see it back there.
Yeah, I put it up for this episode. The artwork in it is amazing. And Spider Baby, the Lon Chaney early Sid Haig thing that we did the episode about.
Nice.
And I sat and spun those things, and I'm like, just looking at the packaging, like I was like, somebody loved this. You know what I mean? Each insert had like
Yeah.
Wolfman's Got Nards, and it had a drawing, like a really cool drawing on it. You flip it over and it's a 3 LP set. You flip it over, it's a little kid and he's like, Swamp Man took my Twinkie or whatever he says. And then the other one says some other stuff. All on the inside is an interview with Fred Drecker, I think, and whoever the composer was for it. I can't remember off the top of my head, but I was like, somebody loved this. I never felt that with Scream 7. I never felt.
I don't even know if the person saw it.
Right. And we're not even all the way done yet because we got to get to everybody dies. Well, the bad guys die, of course. The ghost faced. Doesn't Gail show up at some point? No. She breaks out of the chair. She's like, drop. Boom, boom. Sidney shoots dude. Head gone. Other girl, and then she takes off, runs away. You stay with Dad, I'm gonna go. And now we're in this like drapey, you know, whatever that room is they're building, their nice new thing. We're in there. We get a fight that is, I mean, brutal, like John Wick level choreography in some of this stuff. And I'm like, man, I don't expect that, you guys. Don't push it too far. It made sense when Laurie Strode was tough, but was like relied more on her weapons and things like that. Her guns, her, you know, knives, whatever she could have. Because when Michael got his hand around her, you know, through the window, she's stuck till she blows all his fingers off with a shotgun. This was like everybody was kung fu fighting for real in a lot of ways.
But at the same time, I felt like it was so they could hide Nev's face from the stunt double. It was like fighting for her 60-year-old.
Doing a lot of it, dude. And Neve is a gem. When I met her, she was absolutely wonderful. Super kind human being. Seemed like it anyway, you know. Because I've been to some convention type stuff where people are like, you know. So either way. We get this fight in there. Sidney's about to die. Tatum shows up. Maybe I remember somebody getting stabbed in the leg with a screwdriver, and then like Sidney stabbed her in the leg with a screwdriver, and then took it out and hit her in the gut a couple times, or Tatum did.
Yeah,
somebody.
she did.
Yeah, and then we get, you know, people are shot. Shoot them in the head. She jumps up, and the two Prescott Evans blow her whole face straight to
Clean off.
off. And I think she even says, I'm Sidney fucking Prescott's daughter. Bitch. Yeah. And this is the part that I was like, nobody was on set or a script supervisor, or who was the script supervisor. Had somebody never been in an ambulance before, ever in their life? Because we get Mark is okay. Dad is okay. Joel McHale's all right. He gets put into the ambulance, so like, don't worry about him. And then you get the girls, all three, so you get Gail and Sidney and Tatum, all three walking together, you know, this kind of power walk. They close the doors on Mark, and there's no one in the back of the ambulance with him. No one, dude. The paramedics, I'm assuming the people who closed the doors somebody had to drive the thing, and somebody else is probably up front. I was like, and nobody went with him. Like, hey, I'm gonna go with your dad. Yeah. Listen, or how about we both go?
He's mortally wounded.
We should probably get checked out. We should probably, you know, I've been through
a lot. Concussion. Yeah.
I got stabbed. I got cut up. A lot has happened.
Nope. We're just gonna fucking go to McDonald's. Dude,
the best. You ready?
I'm ready.
Okay. Out of 5 nostalgia buttons.
We don't even have to go that many. Go.
Out of 5 nostalgia buttons. You're right. We do put out of 5 nostalgia buttons. How many do you give Scream 7?
1.5.
Dude, no joke. My same score.
Really?
I came to the table, and I've watched it twice. I've watched it twice. And so I picked up, I think, the second time on even more, where I was like, because I picked it up right when it first hit digital, and then watched it on Friday or whenever, when we were going to record the first time. And I was like, oh yeah, there's even more plot holes. Like people, there were so many plot holes that just, to me, didn't make sense. But 1.5, why don't you give us your take, your Lil Duke spook take?
My little spook take.
Yeah.
When you were talking about the end of this movie, I hit the realization that I don't remember nor care what happened at the end of this movie. I've blocked it from my mind. Do not remember. Like, I kind of, when you were talking about like fighting in the plastic, I was like, oh yeah, that was dumb. I was just checked out, dude. And every time they tried to like poke the nostalgia button, as you said, instead of that getting that warm fuzzy feeling that I get,
you away.
I was repellent, dude. I was just like, ugh. It just like felt like they were trying too hard. And when I heard Kevin Williamson was going to write this thing and direct it, I was like, sweet, like it'll bring back the old essence. But with seven movies, dude.
And we also can't expect that from him, like, hey, recall what he's lived so much life since then. And who knows what the rush was on, who knows, production, there could be so many reasons.
Oh, they're popping him out one every year, dude. So yeah, it's rushed.
Right. Nobody, and the rewrites for me were very blatant.
Yeah,
that's where the plot holes. Because, like I said, Courtney Cox is shaken with some kind of something. We have no idea, and they show her really take the time to show her taking medicine, and then just never address it once. I'm like, there's a whole scene somewhere where her and Sidney talk about she's been going through some medical stuff and da 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 da. 1.5. I will say, let me put a couple positives in there too for fair balance.
Yeah, let's.
Because there were a couple things, like I said. Neve, I support Neve.
Neve's whole performance, Sidney Prescott through and through.
Oh, a lot of the performances. Tatum's was good.
She's great.
Right.
Even Joel McHale, who gets on my nerves sometimes, I thought was great in this.
Yeah.
But he was just unstoppable. He was a fucking Terminator.
Right, dude. Like tackling, like Ghostface and him, like waiting for him. Like, you just threw me down a flight of stairs. I hit my head on at least 11 of them. And cracked into the wall at the bottom. And then, but that's something I guess I kind of see what he was trying to do, maybe, in that the killer's always the one who disappears, not the victim.
Right.
And then we get this Ghostface looks like, where'd he go? And then you get a football tackle out. We're all in the front yard. So, yeah, that was good. There were a couple of, I don't know.
There's no lore to Ghostface. There's nothing more to learn. We're just getting the same fucking thing refed to us, dude. Eat this and tell us it tastes good.
Because
and you're like,
the explanation just felt so.
They're not even trying anymore, dude. They're just like, it doesn't matter who the killer is.
So how would you address that? How would you address, as a writer?
I think I've said it before on this show, dude. Ghostface needs to be supernatural in the next one.
Fair.
Makes so much sense. It takes it into a whole nother level, and we get this lore now.
Right.
Of why is he supernatural? What has happened that changed it? I don't even care if you bring in fucking druids that are gonna fucking be like made him whatever. Just try something different, dude.
Yeah, because you're right. The explanation of I just need you to be a killer to inspire me, so I'm gonna turn your daughter into the next you because I'm certain that All right. That's enough of that.
Yeah. Let's talk about anything else.
Okay. I got a pretty good pause for the living this week. I think it's good because I think it's something most people can relate to. Actually, I'm certain. I can say I'm certain.
All right. You really came to this one.
Yeah. Well, no, this one really showed up in my life. And I have two individuals in my life right now who I care for incredibly dearly. I'm not going to get into any details or anything like that. Don't ask or anything like that because I'm just not even, it's not my story to tell. If they want to tell it, they can tell it. But it got me to thinking about, these two people who I've known a very long time. I don't even know the number of years right now, but a very long time. And completely different like situations. You know what I mean? This isn't a connected event. Like one doing one thing, one doing the other thing, both like, kind of scary stuff going on. And I've said this on the podcast before. Life comes at you crazy. And there is nothing, I don't think there's anything we can do to prevent that. You know, people are going to get sick. People are going to pass away from this manifestation, you know them as, you know, whatever your belief system is. They're going to pass on from this fleshly thing, whatever this is. You know, some schools say, well, they're just going to turn into energy for something else. Cause you know, who knows? It is in my, I don't even want to say my opinion anymore, even though it is my opinion, because I guess anytime somebody's thinking something, it's an opinion, but I like feel it in my soul, in my actual being. And I've done a lot of crazy things in this life. I really have had some wild adventures all over the globe. I really do believe the most important thing any one of us can seek to do is find, foster, and cherish the interpersonal relationships we have in our lives. Because that's, I can't think of anything that matters more than the people. It is the people. Sometimes we end up in situations where people are in our circle of influence, let's call it, sphere of influence. And they're like toxic almost.
Oh, yeah, I've had plenty of that.
Oh, you know all about it. You have to manage your sphere of influence, but at the same time, you don't need like a big amount of people in your life. I think we're led to believe that like the more, I think it's quality, not quantity.
100%, yeah.
Don't let somebody bring you down. But the importance of recognizing it regularly, that's the hard part, especially when it's people we live with, when it's a parent or a loved one, a spouse, a partner, whatever it is. Even a pet, dude. Even a pet. You get used to having your dog around, and all of a sudden, like, the vet's like, yo, we found some, like, crazy shit. You're like, wait, what? Like, there's a life without my dog? Like, no, that ain't supposed to happen. You know what I mean? We can take those things for granted. But I think it's finding those people and ensuring that you're present for those people. Sorry, I felt like I was going to burp for a second.
Oh, Godzilla.
Way to shift the mood, Jeff. Way to shift the mood. No, I can edit that out if I want to, or maybe I'll leave it just to show you life is.
Leave it, dude. It was basic. It was a good one.
Yeah. Okay, so let's look at the counter of that. You're with somebody, say me and you are together. Let's say we agreed to do the podcast tonight, right? And I get here, and the whole time I'm on my phone. I'm like looking down, like kind of talking, like looking up at you, kind of talking, looking up at you. Oh, yeah. Then that, oh, wait, what? Oh, yeah. You know what I mean? It's about just being there. And I recommend, you know, I'm not saying be a creep and like stare at people and be like, oh, but just take a moment to like take a breath and not be in your head and be like, oh, I am existing somehow on this floating rock out in the middle of a void that keeps going and going and going and going and going. Somehow I exist with this person that we vibe together. And you can tell them that. You know, I tell people all the time, be like, I love you. Be like, yo, what up? Sometimes I'll call my brother and just be like, what up? Just want to tell you I love you. I'm driving close to your house. Can I come give you a hug? And we have like an hour and 2 hours, almost 2 hours apart, like an hour and a half apart. But sometimes I'll take the back way if I'm going towards my mom's just to stop and see my brother. Because those are the people in my life that I know, you know what I mean? Like there's the value. Because your boy chased some crazy demons, dude. Like you name it, I chased it. There's a lot of them. There could probably be a whole book onto its own.
Into the darkness.
Right, right. But it always ended up diminishing returns. You know, anything I was looking for externally ended up diminishing returns. And I realized that it was those connections that were the most real thing for the most part. But they got to be a real connection. It's not just, I'm not talking about somebody, an acquaintance who you just work with, who, you know, is kind of a friend or something like that, but someone that you can be vulnerable with and open up and say, yo, I'm having a hard time in life right now. And you're like, yo, that sucks. And you be quiet and listen a little bit, you know, because you care. You want this person to have a better existence.
I think that anytime you have to chase something, it's usually not worth the chase.
Yeah.
The things that are really important, the people that are really important, they're going to stop and be like, "What's up, bro?
Hmm.
You don't have to chase me. I'm right here."
I think there's absolutely something to that, dude. And and again, it doesn't have to be. I would say like five people. If you got five good people in your life, and not all of them got to be like deep people. If you got one, say consigliere, who you're like the only one I open up to, like you the only homie or something like that. You can have that, and then you can have some other people that you share some stuff with. But it's just about, I think, being there for the people. You know, when you're with the people in your life, try not to be thinking about something else, because if you're thinking about something else, you're in the future or the
Right.
past. A lot of times it's the past, but or the future, like, oh, what are we gonna do? We got to pay this bill, or what are we gonna do? What are we gonna eat for dinner later? Da da da. Oh wait, we were talking about what did you say? It happens a lot. You know, it can happen a lot. But getting the news like that I got, it just continued to, because again, these are two people that I care for very deeply, and it was just another one of those reflections of the universe that seems to be so impermanent. Everything is impermanent. It does not last forever. Even, you know, a state of being, not even necessarily death. Death is the big impermanent that we all worry about. But even in these cases, it's, you know, those before and after moments in life that could happen to any one of us or any one of somebody we know at any given time. You know, you've been through big scares with your family and with your, you know, wife. You
Yeah.
guys went through some crazy stuff. We've been through some crazy stuff on our end. But the thing is that everybody, I think, goes through, you know, these kind of things. And when we're aware of that, when we don't say, it'll not, you know, and that's the old saying, it won't happen to me. It's not that it won't happen to you, it's going to happen to everyone. You're all of us are going to age together. That's just how it goes. But then you know, our DNA, like when you do a 23 and me and you're like, oh, I'm a little bit Neanderthal, you're like, yo, dude, that's a long line of interconnected genetic material. You know what I mean? That you can pinpoint, like, oh, your family was over here in Ireland and then Germany and then blah, 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 blah. I'm like, that's wild, man. So I think it is, you know, you can look at the bigger thread too. For me, that's always a kind of a comforting thought. But it's not, yeah, again, I think it's not, it would never happen to me. It's more the mindset of it's going to happen to all of us at some point. But with that awareness, my personal feeling is that it can open one's eyes to how awesome life is right now in the moment, and how you can just take a couple seconds and just enjoy it, you know? Just be like, oh, because tomorrow something could happen, and these before and after moments in life are so real. And it could be the loss of someone, it could be some sort of diagnosis, it could be any number of things, a natural, like disaster, you know, it could be anything at all. Financial ruin. Look back in the 30s and dudes jumping out of windows, you know. I'd rather be dead than lose all the money that I lost.
Yeah.
And I think if you just find that little bit of time where you can just recognize it and be like, yo, the people, this is kind of where it's at. You got anything you want to add?
Yeah, I think that being present is super important. And you know, you talked about the phone thing. That drives me crazy because like I'm somebody who's like I'm choosing to be present in the moment. I expect at the least for you to be here with me.
Right.
Let's do this one on one. And like you said, there's those toxic people. If they're not willing to meet you halfway, then those people can be removed. They're not one of your ride or dies. And sometimes it sucks really bad. Sometimes those moments you're talking about is when you find out or figure out that someone that you thought was super important and felt the same way about you isn't. and that can be like a death.
Yeah. Oh, it is. It's the death of a relationship, and you have to mourn that appropriately. But to your point, it's also making the choice of, do I want to keep being in this situation? And a lot of times, if it's a substance situation, like it's a drinking buddy or something like that, I still have one who I used to drink with all the time, who I've maintained a good relationship with. But when I first stopped drinking, there was a couple of people I was like, that's all we did together.
Right.
You know, and it's not like anything bad happened. It's just like, okay, I'm doing something different now.
Right.
But sometimes it's hard, man. Sometimes people you know in your whole life, or somebody that was a childhood friend who, you know, something turns different. People are different every single day. But yeah, it's tricky because you do have to mourn it. You do
Even your parents. Sometimes you find out your parents aren't the people you thought that they were, and you're like, how the fuck did I end up like this? And my parents aren't. It sucks.
I think that's important though, to try and see your parents as full people. I think, you know, because you look back at the stuff that they went through, but then are, you know, still going through at a different stage of life, and to try and empathize with that end of life that we know is coming. Sometimes I feel like in the West, we put all our old people in homes so we don't got to be reminded all the time. Whereas 100%. We used to keep everybody in the house and be like, yo, you're just going to die here at home. And we'll.
Yeah, don't do that. That's ugly.
Oh, no. Yep. I will definitely, if somebody needs it.
Well, you know how I feel about old people, dude. Just get them out of the house. Just throw them out of your life, dude. They're not worth anything anymore. They're just hanging on to. They're hanging on to a mortality that doesn't want them anymore.
So what are you gonna do? What do you consider old?
I like what the Eskimos do. I say when you get too old, you put them on the end of the fucking iceberg and you crack that piece off and you send them out into the water, dude. And fucking, they live as long as they live, bro.
But again, what's the age for you?
As soon as they start getting gross, like.
You can't be the singular source that determines if an old person is gross or not.
No, it can be a committee of Eskimo people.
I love my geriatrics. I love
the idea of them. Yeah, like the.
Oh, you are so bad, dude. I'm glad we balance each other out.
Yeah.
So yeah. I know that was kind of a lot, but it was heavy. I had to deal with some things for a couple of days, just dealing, breathing, doing all the da-da-da. And then life has thrown a lot of loss at me already up to this point.
Got a lot of curveballs just this year, bro. Like,
there's been a couple. So yeah. Like, subscribe, do all those things.
Don't forget to get your free copy of Scream 7.
It's probably somebody. If it's your favorite Scream, tell us. I was trying to think about it. If there's any one of them I would rank lower, but I'm not sure. Maybe the second New York. I don't know, dude.
The last two, dude, for me were worse than 7.
And that's, New York was.
And that's saying something.
It is saying something.
Yeah.
Past my prime, bitch.
Bitch.
So, I'm not sure what's up next week. I think me and CeeWolf possibly doing Freaks.
You and me are going to do Dust Bunny sometime in the near future.
Ooh, yeah, we can make that happen. Make that happen. But Freaks is sweet. It's the old Todd Browning, One of Us.
Oh, I thought you were going to do the Alex Winter remake of Freaks.
No. All right, we're already running long. Stay beautiful. Keep your soul beautiful. Do an act of kindness, even if it's towards yourself. You can be nice to yourself. It is okay to be nice to you. All right. I've been Pops Ghostly.
I'm Lil Sneak Spooky.
Stay spooktacular. We'll talk to you next week.